Okay, so he says uh, there are actually four different kinds of do loops. Besides the for loops that we studied, and we also studied the do loop, he says there are four different types of do loops. We have the one that we just looked at called do while, and then we also have one which is do until. And then we can also put the while at the end or the until at the end. But let's look at this and see what the difference is. So let's look at here. So here was the do while loop, right? And we saw what it did. Do while loop did this. And remember how it works. We defined first we defined my string that was separate, but my string. And then we define a index variable here. We do the do while based on a condition that has the index variable in it, I, and then we have to increment I. So do while I is less than 4, and I starts at 0. For the first time, 0 is less than 4, so we go through the loop. Then we increment I there in the highlighted part, so I becomes 1. And we test I is less than 4, so 1 is less than 4, so yes. So we go through the loop again. And then we increment it again with the highlighted increment statement. And so I becomes 2, we do it, and then I becomes 3, we do it. And then the increment statement runs again, and I becomes 4, and this condition is not true, so we skip outside the loop. Okay? Now what if I wrote this, though? What would that mean? So do until I is less than 4. How does that change things? So I starts out as 0 in that dim statement here. I starts out as 0, and then we go to the do loop, and it says do until I is less than 4. So is 0 less than 4? Yes. So do we run the loop? No, it says do it until then. After that, don't do it. So when this condition is true, don't do it, right? That's what until means, right? So we wouldn't even run it, even once. In fact, let's just try. Nothing happens. So do until I is less than 4. So just simple English means you do it until that point. So how could we change this to still generate the same thing that we had when we had do while? But if we want to use the until word, how do we have to change things around? So when we had do while, we did this as long as this condition was true, right? That's what do while means. Do while this condition is true. But do until means do until this condition is true. So in other words, do it as long as the condition is false. Right? So we want to do it as long as the condition is false. Remember, do while as long as the condition is true. Okay, anyway. So we want to do it as long as the condition is false, we want to do this. So how do we have to change this? So try to figure it out before looking at the next video. So how do you have to change this to get it to do the same thing?